Today we're going to dig into a list of 6 things that civilians think happen on military deployments versus what actually happens. Okay, the first expectation is constant combat. Every movie you see is just action, 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 action. And the movies always show nonstop action. Oh. And the reality is that there's a lot of waiting. And then there's more waiting. And then there are briefs. Hours of briefs. Followed by truck inspections. And sometimes truck cleanings. And maybe more waiting. And then you finally get moving and trucks break. And more waiting. Or the brief. Sometimes we'd show up to a brief and it'd be like 4 a.m. and we're getting ready to go on the road at 6. So you already know how long the brief is going to be. And then you get halfway through the brief and the mission changes or gets canceled. And then it's just, there is excitement on deployment, but the reality is a lot of sitting around. The phrase hurry up and wait does not just apply to non-deployment times in the military. Expectation 2 is elite operators doing cool stuff all the time. You see, it really does kind of seem like the only movies that ever make it to Hollywood are Navy SEALs or whatever special forces group doing all kinds of badass or things written by generals or commanders. It seems rare that there's just movies about like the everyday guy doing the things. And the reality is we did a lot of cleaning trucks and a lot of moving gear and a lot of cleaning trucks again. And then we inventoried gear that we inventoried the day before and just a lot of boring stuff. Here's like the perfect picture. There's a passage in my journal where I wrote, you know what? Let me just read it to you. Yeah, I'm going to read you a couple passages here. 1, day 42, 16:10. We got back to Camp Leatherneck at 5:30 this morning, and I spent until 11:30 trying to find the damned wash racks. And then sitting around waiting to get my truck washed. And then at 12:30, me and my gunner were refused until 17:30. So then we dropped off all our gear in the hooch and went showering, and we went to the sandwich shop where I ate too much. Day 116. This week, Captain Name made me wash my mine roller 3 times the night before a mission because it was dusty. And that's what happened. This is in parentheses. I said, that's what happens when you drive a wet truck from the wash rack to the lot where the truck is parked in the desert. So I would wash my truck, drive it to the lot, and you go, still dusty. Wash it again 3 times, same day. I wrote that at 10 o'clock. So yeah, point being, wash a lot of freaking trucks. Expectation number 3, a lot of times people seem to think about this whole like surviving off the land, like your Bear Grylls out in the woods. The reality is we spend a lot of time just like obsessing over chow, talking about chow, trading chow, getting excited over non-bread because it's something different. Because after months on deployment, there's only so much of the same MREs you can eat. Every now and then you'd trade a soldier and you'd get like a first strike ration, which is some of their type of MREs. And so you'd have a little bit something different. Or like the chow hall version of the MREs, which are not a whole lot better, but they're warm. So like, you're not surviving off the land. You're surviving off MREs, whatever Pop-Tarts, and like the fake strawberry milk that gets stuck in an ISO container forever. If you were in OIF, OEF, you know what I'm talking about. Expectation number 4 is this like just view of like the stoic warriors that are service members. And the reality is that we spend time arguing about dumb stuff, talking trash, watching movies, looking at adult magazines when we can get them shipped over in care packages, you know, just goofing off. We would like grapple, you know, in our spare time. Sometimes on like the fuel bladder, we had this massive fuel bladder. We'd use it as like a mat to grapple on. We complained a lot. Service members do that innately. We complain about all the dumb stuff. When it comes to like stuff that really matters, it's funny. It's like, oh, you got to hike 20 miles while dragging some wounded person behind you and like it's miserable. No complaints. But like sweep the parking lot again the whole time. In case you can't tell, some of that is exaggerated, but you get the idea. Number 5, everybody expects that you're just always in the zone and the only thing you think about is the mission. And it's funny, because as I think back on deployment, I always tell people like, man, deployment You have like nothing to worry about but the guys on your left and right and the mission, which is true. But because like you do get downtime periodically, if you were to read my journal, you'll see that I did think about home, girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, family, and a lot of us just daydreaming about what we're going to do as soon as we get home on leave, where we're going to blow our money, what bar we're going to go to, what tail we're going to chase. You know, not always mission like the movies. There's enough freaking sitting around bored waiting downtime to just go crazy. Expectation number 6 is about like nonstop brave, heroic actions and feelings. And the reality is that we spend a large amount of the deployment sweating our ass off, trying not to fall asleep, and wondering if and when we may be able to shower again. So look, at the end of the day, combat happened. We had some exciting stuff, but boredom was the real enemy on our deployments.